This is from Biafra's Got Talent. We are letting Biafrans know the reason why we should remember those who gave their lives for us, those who died that we may live.
You died to end my suffering. You died fighting for my freedom. Your blood is the seed of redemption. You are my inspiration.
The deed no wrong with them, military shots at them. 67 to 70, we remember them. 2016, 38 May, memory still lives in our mind till today. Wonder why they refuse to publicize the genocide. The world media turn blind eyes to our plight. It's time to arise, land of the rising sun. Let's rise one more time, let's rise.
Yo, we will never forget our fallen heroes. Those who gave their life for us. Onitsha massacre, Iwata massacre, Aba massacre. We remember you. Alright.
Tell them I got that day. Remember when me tell you say I got that day. Yeah, I remember that one that called us a Bruce Mero. But the way you go like a papa nuku. But then when we go, me tell you what I look and the what on this amiro. Me tell you what I day. For me the front and the rest of man I tell you what I do. Me know back and forth. Me tell them
Fallen heroes, I want to promise you something today. We must fight together, no retreat and no surrender. We must hold them down till the end of time. The most important thing is that we will restore Biafra. May your soul rest in peace.
I look up to the sky with tears in my eye. For other Biafrans and for freedom had to die. We will never forget you as the days go by. You are always in my heart, forever be a part.
They fought for our freedom. They died for our freedom. They fought the Nigerian soldiers in the war front without food, without guns, for our freedom, for our life, for our own good, for our children. We love them, our heroes. We want them.
My heart bleeds when I saw them slain. Where will I be now if not then? They will remain indelible in my heart forever, 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 and ever, and ever, and ever.
We serve in your plantation, and the way you paid us back with your bloody starvation. We bled in our history that the death of my people is a mystery. No going back to get to a victory. I had a voice now call for vengeance. I never get bomb, I'ma blow like a vengeance.
Yo, we will never forget our fallen heroes. Those who gave their life for us. Onitsha massacre, Iwata massacre, Aba massacre. We remember you. Alright.
Where will I be now? If not you, you died at Mali.
They were starved to death because of our freedom, and they paid the debt for our freedom. Flag high for those that died in the genocide, fighting for you and I. There is pain in our heart, we bleeding inside, tears in our eyes, so I'm falling here.
This is for my fallen heroes. Give them a motivation, people. It's like I'm looking at myself in the mirror. Cause to be a cast, I need to be a nurse. If we did not retire,
They paid the ultimate price. They died for me, for the freedom of my unborn child. We live for
flag in the air. Never be afraid. March on, cause we are more than conquerors. Yeah, you know what it is. We must revenge, and we must stand to represent who we are.
Fight on, brave boys, fight on, heroes of our fatherland. Pursue the enemy, harass him, destroy the invader. March on, brave boys, now that victory is in sight. March on and hasten the disintegration of the enemy already set in motion.
Fighting a war, knowing the difficulties, the odds against us, there is an element of fatalism, people feeling, well, if the world chooses to abandon us, then perhaps it is better we all perish. They don't ever consider a Biafra not free. They believe in either Biafra free or no Biafra at all. That means none of us living to see it.
I need Biafra freedom. We Biafrans, we need Biafra freedom. For this, I decided, even to die, that Biafra must have its own freedom.
I want us to work systematically towards the establishment of a good, progressive, and democratic society where all vestiges of privilege and social injustice will be abolished, and the rich contribute more for the welfare of the poor. If civil war comes, and I do think it is imminent, you're quite right, it will for us be the price of freedom. Our people here have for a long time been prepared for this eventuality, and I am confident of their readiness. I think that when it does come, that the people on the other side would be surprised as to what they're going to get. And I'm confident that it will not last long.
We'll surely come out as a nation because we're fighting a just cause. Even a little child on the street will tell you this. We shall never go back to Nigeria again. God's grace will surely emerge as a nation. And so, as far as this war continues, we'll fight to the last man.
This is what Biafra is, the end of the journey for a persecuted, massacred, pursued people. We have made all attempts at a democratic resolution of this crisis. I have offered open elections, plebiscite. I have offered just an open carte blanche suggestion, anybody who can find a democratic way of finding out the wishes of the people, let him suggest it and we will go for it.
Another Savior.
Holy, 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 Adimebujuku. Another Savior.
Another Savior.
Holy, 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 Adimebujuku. Another Savior.
Holy, holy.
If you do not believe in what we are doing, then you better get out. We're not going to stop. God knows we can never stop until Biafra is restored. We are peace-loving people. We abhor death and killing of another soul. It's in our nature, that's how we are. But because of that, they have been coming and killing us all these years. We've kept quiet. They've been killing and killing and killing quiet. We have a case at the ICC. We have a case at Africa Union. We have a case at, what else again? Pending before the UN in New York. We've been to Geneva to tender our case. Before UN, till today, nothing. In fact, the more we complain to them, the more they come to abduct and rape our children, the more they come to kill us, the more they want to take over our land and our forests. And who told them that's going to be possible in our time? In a movement that I lead. You think you can come into our land and take it over? Oh dear.
Welcome. Thank you for joining us this very evening. I welcome every one of you. I wish you a very happy weekend. Happy weekend to everyone that have joined us, wherever you are joining from, whether you are joining us from Biafra land, from Nigeria, Asia, Europe, America, wherever you are connecting from, like and share the program. We have come this evening, as you know, our evening section, we do it differently. And this evening, we are going to conduct our evening program with a very, very powerful interview that was granted in VOP. You know that the battle for the soul of IPOB is still ongoing. The recovery of IPOB is still ongoing. And the sacked DOS are also pushing their propaganda. As they continue to use VOP to push their propaganda, now the game have changed. The new IPOB are also making their own case in VOP. So we have to continue to project this for people who did not see to see. Let us hear what the program they have. Remember, as Nnamdi Kanu is preparing for his appeal, Mazi Ekpa also preparing her appeal. A lot of things are going to be happening. So many blackmail, so many propaganda, so many lies to tarnish their image. And we on media will not allow that. You yourself that is watching me, you must do your own part to make sure that our leaders are properly represented. Remember, August 5th, Mazi Ekpa is coming for his appeal, and the Biafrans are requested to be in Finland in mass. Join the protest that is going to hold on the 4th, join the protest. A massive protest is coming up on the 4th. The flyers are everywhere. The numbers to contact are there to get the update, know time and date and places. These are very important for us to give massive support to our leaders. Nigeria is gone and is not recovering. No matter what the United States is doing now, no matter what Donald Trump is doing or saying, they can continue to go their front and back, but the will of the people will definitely stand. The Zoological Republic is going to burn. With or without the United States, is going down. If the United States under Donald Trump refuse to do what they're supposed to do, by him himself, we split that devilish entity by himself. So I want us to listen to this very program. It is very important and very interesting. And as you're watching, like and share the program. Invite somebody to join. Invite somebody to join. This is a very important program. Very interesting program. Very interesting because, you know, that is the importance of going to their media. If you don't go to their conventional media, you will not know what is happening. So that is why every time I come online, I try as much as possible to go to their conventional media and bring what is happening there. Because that is how we can be able to decimate, create awareness, and know the direction we are going to follow them. Because the enemy we are fighting are not relaxing. The enemy we are fighting are not relenting. They are doing everything they can to see that they distract us. On our own part, what are we supposed to do? What we are supposed to do is to continue to speak up, to continue to speak the truth and nothing but the truth. And make sure that at every given point in time, that we are bringing information to the doorstep. So wherever you are, as a Biafra, I want you to understand that this battle is not a small battle. It is a very great battle, and we are going to fight it and we're going to win it. But before then, as we continue to prepare for this battle, you have to do your own part in evangelism. You have to do your own part by speaking up. Don't keep silent. When you see something, say something. Wherever you are watching from, I want you to pay attention to this program. You are going to learn a lot. You will learn a lot. Let us watch and hear what they have to offer this evening.
Voice of the People 90.3 FM. Dịka anyị gbara ụlọ ụnyaahụ, ọtụtụ ihe emeela, ọtụtụ ozi agbasana na efere mba ụwa dị iche iche gbasatara ya bụ IPOB, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu nakwazi ESN. Mana ụtụtụ a anyị ga-anụkwa n'otu onye bụ onye IPOB. Ọtụtụ anyị sonyere na ya bụ ihe omume ileba anya ụsafetụ. Anyị nwere Mazi Ezumezu Nwekwesu. Mazi Ezumezu Nwekwesu, ọ bụrụ na n'ụlọ anyị ụtụtụ ọma. Ọ dị mma, Mazi Ezumezu Nwekwesu. Ụfọdụ ndị mgbe anyị gbanyere ya bụ ihe eserese, ha fụ Mazi Ezumezu Nwekwesu, ha sị kedụkwa nke bụ Nwekwesu, kedu ka afọ asị wepụta? Well, okay. So answer, can you use 1 minute to go back Alpha? Alpha no Nwekwesu ano abụrụ Abasu Afanasa, Abasu na my family. Come on, no, I will not go as more force for you. Because those guys they go, I feel like they're going to watch on more. They're going to watch on more. They're going to watch on more. They're going to that matter. But to answer people here, oh, just fast, maybe few years ago, that's what they're going to have for the event. That's more. They're supposed to more you put down more. They're supposed to more you put down more. To answer, you must get into people, our fathers, I'm already you are not about heaven or hell. That is the president of that influence them. I'm not going to answer. People, I'm that people are hell or heaven. I believe in incarnation. I'm not going to one. Get more than people buy. People, you have to get them. And I got to go. They will not more than the according to them. I will that guy, I got more. Then I know. That will influence. That for them. And then, I for you, the real Mazi.
No, but I can't get the total, but you got Mother Biafra, I have one mamma water. You got to have some.
Oh, and then I don't know one mamma water. Nke soludo nke nwa dibịa anya ọcha soludo nwụchiri ọ bụrụzi nwa mmiri ekulu nwa mmiri. Mazi Ezumezu Nwekwesu ka anyị gaa n'iru na ya bụ isi akpọrọ afọ wee kwapụkpu n'ụtụtụ a. Ọ bụrụ na ị na-anya ọtụtụ ihe emeela n'ụbọchị ndị eze, ọtụtụ ozi dị n'efere mba ụwa gbasatara IPOB, gbasatara Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, gbasatara ESN. Maka ndị na-esonyere anyị ọfụma na mba ụwa dum, achọrọ m ibido jụwa gị ajụjụ a tupu wee gaa n'iru saa ajụjụ a. Ị bụ onye IPOB n'ozuzu oke?
Ya, answer mwa bụ onye IPOB, onye awalida 2012. Olùkọ́ oru 2014. Mmụọ mụ na ya zụrụ ebe ụwa. Mmụọ na-agalu ozi na mmụọ na-agalu ozi na mmụọ na-abụghị ozi sị na nwa amadi a n'ọnya. 2014 ka m bụ official member. So ọ bụ anyị.
Ọ dị mma. Ọ bụrụ na ị bụ onye IPOB, kedu ihe na-afịọtụ na IPOB? Ikposa gị, asụkwa gị, onye abụkwa onye ndu, onye abụghịkwa onye ndu. Kedu ihe butere nsogbu a niile? Onye ka bụ onye ndu? to answer Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was a leader. And one of them was a IPOB. Oge Malaysia. Oge who not recommend to measure and not capture. My home quite join. Onye by Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Office here. Then one question I have more. But I'm not a young one. But on that, gave it to a home, gave it in a night with me. Office still a night you go on young. So, I'll give you that. Only why Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was a leader. And nobody can take you off. And allow why now one code of conduct. That I want a code of conduct to be because only about I do family. And that's how what all the is looking quite Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Then what they go at apart from his office, I exchange. And only one look forward, give me
Mazi weapons. Ya gaziere gị. Ọ bụrụ na ile anya Mazi Nnamdi Kanu nọ n'ụlọ mkpọrọ ihe siri bụrụ ugbu a na-akwado ịga ụlọikpe kpesara. Ọ pụtara n'ozi anyị nwetara maka na ọtụtụ ozi na-apụta ụfọdụ n'ọnụ Kanu nta ụfọdụ ụmụnne ya ndị ezinụlọ ya IPOB bụkwa nke ịmapụ afọ na-ekwuchitere ha ọnụ ọtụtụ ozi dị iche iche na-apụta. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu kwara, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu sịkwara, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu chụkwara, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu achụghị. Ka anyị lega anya na ndị TOS bụkwa nke Chikadibia Edozie Maazị bụ onye a na-akpọ Chike Edozie nọ n'isi ya bụkwa nke anyị nwetara akụkọ na Mazi Nnamdi Kanu ebosala ha achụọla ha ọsọ ego a ụfọdụ n'ime ha asịla ha si n'otu IPOB were pụọ o were hiwe TOS ọhụrụ. Ọ dị gị ka nke mbụ ị nabatara ọchụchụ ọ chụrụ Chike Edozie na ndị otu ya dịka TOS họpụta ndị ọhụrụ? Ọ dị gị ka n'oge dịka nke a abụghị oge o kwesịrị ịnọ n'ụlọ mkpọrọ na-asị chụọ achụkwala. N'oge dịka nke a bụ oge onye ukwu na onye nta kwesịrị ịbịakọta ọnụ hụ ka a ga-esi were hụ na ọ pụtara na ya bụ ụlọ mkpọrọ.
Thank you for this question. I think for you to give you so good like you actually Onyano. You don't see we see Agalada. But the guy in the Lania, it comes down. What the guy in the Lania, it should keep the body to save. That's so. Dina, now that one might keep the body to save. On our days to do our wife of good of conduct. On our down, only our leader. Only to can make that some kind of not from getting what your evidence. That's never get out to get it. Well, I said, you by their family, who would never make sense. In my people, I'm an people today. In Nigeria, all that is more faithful than it is. But that's all but they need to take Nnamdi in 2021. So like it, 4 months ago, 1 grade in 2021. If I didn't enter value, all follow now, that she can fall into them to the little man that can barrier. Who more I went than I need. Can it come out in the color barrier? Okay, stable. In Manamana, this man, they can okay, if the master can. I think that was in June. Yeah, that's the truth, yeah. The ESN, they forgot the wire, when Martin and come. Then, police, police, the police, women, besides, that's true. You have for their wanted to stand on 9th of August 2021. Get me that wanted to stand. If you are not, I'm going to have one in the bank. Then before that, on 9th of August, DPSS emepe ụzọ ndị ọkaikpe na-ejefu onye ndu. Ka ndị ọkaikpe ji jefu onye ndu, ụmụ nwa mkparịta na-akpọ kparịta m na-eme ka eji ọfụfọ. Wee bụ onye ndu na DOS akanye ego ya na-akpọ Monday Gospel. Onye ndu esi ya mba. Akụghachi ga n'aka nsụọ ya na o mee ya na ndị gọọmenti ya bata ma ndị ụzọ ma ndị iro ya bata na iti ya eme gịnị ya eskalate na megide na atụtuo na-ejidogbu ụzọ na nsụkọ n'aka nsụọ ya nwa mmadụ na-akpọ Nnamdi for Pakistan ebe a wee gba Chika wesịra na ebe onye Chika besi na ọma mmiri na onye gbamanye na onye degere evidence na ụmụ ede evidence onye ọgwụ wee business na ụmụ wee business onye degere ya to cancel the seat at home then he will listen to it. Ọ gakwa n'ihu wee si that na ihe ọbụla pụtara seat at home na ọ ya ejichebe efu ụmụ chọmbọdụ steeti na-ezu wee nụrụ ya obodo ọnọ chọmbọdụ steeti na setịlọ wee disobey. That was the first disobedience to man and that was the first time Hannah can start the way when believe me, that one day goes down on 9th of August 2021. Everywhere was warm. But she got that on he took care and he took again. But no name to what I can for you. But I didn't want to get a don't name to the other. On 6, 72 hours before that on 9, I can't go ahead. Only to the water you really walk back because all we can have more, not enough money. That is the thing. Who was not of things that I need to do. That one of the effort. Mazi government, Mazi Amasia, they can't get to the mother in the garden.
Ọ bụrụ na ị na-anya ka ọ dị kịta ụfọdụ ndị na-ekwu kalụ nta na-arụjọ onye nke na-ekwu kalụ nta bụ ihe ọma mere gịnwa dịka onye IPOB onye otu IPOB kedu ọnọdụ kalụ nta ihe ndị a ọ na-agba mkpokwu ọ na-agbapụta agbapụta
Mazi Kanu were a member at IPOB. What offer the to know when I the member for Johnson. Okay, in 215, onye Ndumedusi, I follow deputy leader, and I put them up. I have no onye Kanu this member, I am no my wife. Because Uche Mepo, one shop now, piano from one year, which Mepo Yagana from the highest command in Cap. In the bad man is forgiving. Please. I am no Macacam. I am no Macacam. It's never come. Listen to the way no Macacam to get out of that now. Macacam stand in two things. Obey code of conduct and obey the leader of this movement. I don't think you know my contact. Oh my God.
Mazi, where so in a lolu. I had top of the neighbor. You could drop Simon neighbor. But tupu akwụche Simon ebe to ha some ọ bụrụ na ị na-eri ọ bụrụ na o tere isonyere anyị ebe a ị ga-amata na tupu akwụche Simon ebe ma tụọ ya mkpọrọ na mba Finland ọtụtụ ndị bi ebe a ndị na-ege anyị ntị anyị butokwu Simon ebe n'ụzọ bụ na ọ na-arụ ọjọọ na IPOB ha si anya ọwa shi na Mazi Nnamdi Kanu onye ndu họpụtakwara ya na-enweghị ọrụ ọjọọ ọbụla ọ na-arụ oge abụ n'oge ka ha na-esitechara anyị ozi ebe a ọkachasị ụfọdụ ụmụaka iwe na mba ofesi na Simon Ekpa anaghị arụ ọrụ ọjọọ ọ bụ ezigbo ọrụ ka ọ na-arụ na ha amaghị ihe mere na mgbe niile anya na-akọta ya ebe a na ọ na-arụ ọjọọ biko tupu akwụchie Simon Ekpa ọ na-arụ ọjọọ na IPOB ọ na-arụ ezigbo ọrụ
Simon Ekpa, oh, you go up one and go. Oh, and one arrived, what's the problem of one game movie for what much more? No man condemn me, not yet, not yet to take it. But why can you Simon Ekpa when movement is your life? Oh, we are not going to be able to make it back. And go on one. After that, chica poly do get onion tunti. This will keep why I can't suspend chica. Someone will take it over. Who won't man according to faith? I will take it over. But someone else, even give it to oh, when you go there, but when you go metal. Oh, when you go there, when you go there, go metal. And okay, interview, only see I only say we say for the rest here, Simon. It's going to be I don't want bad even. And all of Simon, the Union of Northman. People who tell me so, Simon, I'm waiting for me. Simon, yeah, I do. And Simon, I can't head of the today. Simon, I don't tell you so. The Simon police. Good. Okay, Simon for the delivery. After we get to Nnamdi Kanu, the next person Simon will next person Simon more to come the money they say. What you are no? Come back and have we feel zero the beginning. Oh, you go away. You go that honor who will start now. No more go to Ghana go. Get back to the next side. I let you enter over, not the idea. And a man Jordan. So it's that attitude. When no moment.
Mana kelu ke sire ho ngora tro ya afọ apa fisi ko wa fisi na ka Finland kelu ke sire ho ya
That's where I am only going to them now follow. And those who them that those who them that one body. One thing could be ima will be more than that. What they would have Biafra. They were begging, and they work one in Biafra. One man take care out of it. Another one, what they pay on two sides. What they pay on two sides. No more in a Biafra, a Kanu. Why are that? What you want it? But what you go there? Observe woman. Deal. Oh, they all the camera, carry you on me.
How come Niyomi Bamakano Gendibana Voice of the People 90.3 FM? Obain on YouTube, IPOB. Mazi ezumezu mwekwensu nọ n'ụtụtụ a asị na ọ bụ onye nọ nkwụ nso amakwanụ mgbe ọ chara mana Mazi ezumezu nwekwensu maka anyị gazie n'iru n'ịwa ya bụ okwu agba ọ bụrụ na ị na-anya ebee ka ego ndị a niile ndị mmadụ na-atụkọsị maka na ọ kwere m nghọta na ọtụtụ ndị na-ekwu na otu ndị a na-ebuba ọ bụrụ ma ị gaa n'ije ego na-aga ije ego na-agafe aka pụrụ aka kedu ndị ọ dị n'aka ịchịkọta maọbụ lekọta ego ndị a niile na-abata na IPOB ma nkwado ya ma efu na Maazị Nnamdi Kanu pụtara maọbụ ndị na-enye nkwado efu na ndị ọkaiwu ya nwetara nkwado pụrụ iche na ewepụta Maazị Nnamdi Kanu kedu ndị ọ dị n'aka na-afụsụ maka ya bụ ego ahụ ọ dịkwa ebe dị
Ebe ka esi onye nọ ebe ka esi onye mataka ka ọ na-ekwu ya na daily account in IPOB that is good account onye bụ onye ahụ onye Madam Nenianya. Madam Nenianya. Oh, that woman really in charge about anything they do IPOB worldwide. And a guy, they go on the piano about the time, back with their government. A man, a lawyer, to fight, and one lawyer, an international Magoka, one on 1 year, the beginning, that's what matters. A man is settlement, after a settlement, over $90,000. I probably at that day of Golago, I cannot over that. Come out, you was nasty, and to that bank, I feel like one man. All the same smart, well, for you. Our God, not Kenya. All the same woman, well, for you. Our God, not UK. All the same man, where they take your things. A guy. I went so much at and I went. I did go before I couldn't just your account. So, if I get to CTOS, Chica Police, I'm one of the only man until you have to but a lot of things were made to recover. I will to be. A guy, you know, telling that to the maniac. That woman, where you come and start. But that you make to that account. But I can leave here, keep or keep up. Woman be, and they can account on that. I put woman get it done. Imananda chica politician and do here. What 40 for 2,000 views online bank like that. Not that. Imananda for South Africa. Over 200,000 rounds. That account, that one I don't now. Chica politician making it. So, God, what can I tell you? I'm going to have no thing. Let me get on. I will get of count account. I will get call. We will go to call. I'm waiting for lazy life. Or to transfer into our ideal now. Because if they are now for ideal to the front of us, so they must be able to only instead of you. So, if walk up and get a guy ever the other on the
Mazi, Wepesu, yes, the group ọtụtụ ụmụ afọ Igbo na-ekwu na ihe gbasara IPOB dịka ọgọziele family business. Ụmụnne Maazị Nnamdi Kanu ha ji akpa ego na ha jie onye mee ya dọrọ nke ya n'aha gịnị nwanne ha nwoke bụ Maazị Nnamdi Kanu. Ụfọdụ ndị na-ekwu na ezinụlọ Maazị Nnamdi Kanu ekwesịghị ịnọ na-etinye ọnụ n'ihe gbasara IPOB, ihe si aga na ihe ndị ọzọ, na ha kwesịrị ịnọ otu aka na-ekiri hapụrụ ndị DOS ya bụ ọrụ. Mana na nke ikpeazụ azi na ezinụlọ Maazị Nnamdi Kanu eburu ihe niile n'isi ụmụnne ya, onye ọbụla ewere na-akpa ego aka nri aka Ekpa. Ikwenyere na nke a, nke ọ bụ eziokwu maka na Igbo otu onye gbara mkpọrọ IPOB.
And that's the local account that come up with of IPOB. Right in my boom. IPOB. People can be so after 2 things. I have one account that comes the negative. I fight. You know that 2 things. Obey IPOB because of conduct. He won't lie. He won't before a battle. Obey an chain of command. And obey any one of the Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Your propaganda. Ever again, and if you don't want Kanu was the 1 year working. Kanu was the 1 year working. Our leader. But what is the last back at home? One mother and a boy come back. But what is the last year? Okay, now I think that no one no full of family business. You have IPOB, one family. Why you like? We are family. So, I'm going to understand all those things. Can you come and hold a debate with me? What tell you one single or two actual? What tell you or two? It is no one than and then. I know who our sister. I respect her. I go to men at all. See, I think you won't tell them who only the one than.
On your different people.
Lord, nega. Civic. I go to men at all. Let you put the people here. Let me wait to pay. What tell you who full evidence? It's the one with the African guy. Can you tell me? They just $10,000 and they go to all my platform. My petrol here. I don't lie. I'm going to be so much.
Kadi house rajam. Kadi lolo ne kachi pese sarajam be varianta.
And come bali aya you over to umba. And president mo gami gala be evidence here. Okay. I have evidence in the book market. So I'm alright, but won't go on evidence. Evidence. I can't put a chicken policy about going to pray the evidence to a group who want to do well. Okay, the same woman, Lord of Nature. Now, the new HOD today, today, please more. Man, please, not for a member of my team. Please more than my program. Please more for deputy legal coordinator in America. In America, what I do on my program, more people in the program, more than 10 times. Yo, yes, but we only do lie. Say at the end, shall we? Because Israel, we have to go on. Lies, not last days of time. And I actually do not know to get that. This is only one of the answers. I can get that more $10,000. Yeah, on debate with me. What just evidence you want with them? You will hear all my platform people here. I'll quote that more $10,000. Don't lie.
Abro ni nanya kuhusu kwa nini na kebeze kubu na mekaniki ekolo zikanye malande bundara akoko kali anyamaro sona imegi ya anyamaro kudo dika adiku ido ngwe Simon Ekpa no na ido ana tuba ya kwa amone masaranya kamdu eba masa aine la ya nazo makana Simon Ekpa broncha uruzie mbangu Simon Ekpa ayafuzi ụfọdụ n'ime mba ụfọdụ n'ime ha sị na egobiri anyị ka anyị na-ekwujọ Simon Ekpa mana ihe m chọrọ ịjụ bụ ihe ndị a niile na-apịọtụ maka ihi na maazị Nnamdi alakabeghị enwe nwere onwe ya. Kedu ka ụnụ nwa na ụnụ bụ ndị IPOB ụnụ nọ na Amerịka, ụnụ nọ na Germany, ụnụ nọ na Italy, ụnụ nọ na mba dị iche iche, ọ bụ sọ ego ka ụnụ na-asụ ya ka ọ bụ ụkwụ iche ma UK ma na mba Amerịka? Ọtụtụ mgbe eche m na ekwesịrị inwe ọtụtụ ije na dịka ikwuru ọtụtụ ndị ọnụ na-eru n'okwu ndị ma ndị ji ego ma ndị nwere agwa na mba Amerịka. Donald Trump na ụnụ nso. Kedu ihe mere na ụnụ adịbeghị njikere lụọ ọgụ a ka mara na ga-etinye ọnụ kpọpụta nwa amadi a otu ugboro ka okwu a niile ebe maka na maazị Nnamdi Kanu pụta kịta kpam kpọtọkpọtọ agbara ihu.
Ndị ji maazị Nnamdi Kanu ọbụrụ Nigeria gọọmenti ọmụma a na-use Nigeria gọọmenti na-use some of the politicians that they use. Ndị ji maazị Nnamdi Kanu ndị ichie with that company put na Lagos nwe headquarters na Lagos, Shell, Chevron, Ajib, Saipem, Because beggar, it was big, and got it. Yo, those come to them. Why are this? Why are this? What is this? For him to want to go UN or fight all Gago or put where see I'm working. Where I get on let them read that on the never know. Each man didn't go with this for you company. Once some have some email started, some follow on Niger Delta. Okay, the authentic of to test oil pipe. Go at least go the oil test. Go and look at that list. When they control on that list. My America, my UK, my Germany, my Sweden, my Finland, my Norway. All of them this. And they only don't need get this again now, but if Nigeria and Congo can feed the whole world about just them well. Not they will say to us if you can effect that is today. So all this, but I know. Like one day I think this local life, why you have continue. But you know you have this or this. But I and the government nine I think almost a month ago about the US Congress. What is said even about the national as an last government about the case. To answer one man do now. Committee from all the prominent people. Let me say 60% of them have asked Nigeria to this man. Even UN looking have asked Nigeria to this man. Why are you want to na law? Ogo makamu na aguma. They are the moon that South Africa today. No place like
that. Mazi Wepesu, can jogi, is na abu or share. And there's a Boraha, Adi, Omunaya, Obundi Jimas in Nnamdi Kanu, no booking government in Nigeria. Makana, to be going out, or to Mafi. Blood of Fodom Afalani Nabuginki, you were putting a Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, na Yabi Hona, John, and they put on Abu government in Nigeria. Look what you had to let on ya. Haga to hapo ya badala la kubai lugwa na obu share nguvu ndio ndio za kuniki mambo na kana ebe na tuju chori jiki kuwa kedu mbonu na agwa ehu na mama ji ato hapo ya tupu izam ya bụ ajụjụ ụfọdụ ụmụ afọ Igbo nwekwara nkwenye na ọtụtụ ndị ndu ama nke ọma na-adị Igbo bụkwa ndị kwesịrị ịsọpụ uche gaa hụ onye isi ala gaa hụ obi onye isi ala kwechiri na nwanyị nwoke eji enwere ndị ọzọ si na agbụrụ ndị ọzọ mere ihe karịrị ihe o mere kama atụhapụrụ ha lawa kedu isi ihe mere nke anyị ga-eji pụrụ iche ụfọdụ ụmụafọ Igbo nwere nkwenye isi na ọ bụ Shell na ndị otu ya bụ ndị Mazi Nnamdi Kanu nwere nkwenye na ọ bụ ụfọdụ ndị ndu ama nke ọma ọnụ na-eru n'okwu n'ala Igbo na ọ bụ ndị zọchiri ma kwechiri na nwa amadi ya nọrọ n'ụlọ mkpọrọ na ọ bụrụ na ịtọhapụ ya taa na ha agaghị enwe ọnụ n'ala Igbo na ọ ga-enwezi ọnụ karịa ha ikwenyere na nke a
ọ bụ ige n'ọnụ dị okpure asị m that na ndị ji Mazi Nnamdi Kanu with this company simple n'ọba anyị na but na a na-use Nigerian government as a tools na-use our politicians as a tools so ile anya okay get all this na UN in Nigeria to ọmụ amadi anọ in Nigeria 6 months at the end of the day Nigeria still paying African Union Afro Nigeria like Onya at the end Nigeria disobey okay in Mapa even the Nigerian committee and affair is another legislation who are the special crime in the whole world now ask yourself people can go to go about that legislation. People can use to buy your group material. Did you get enough for somebody's country? The group material. Oh my bụ ibe a na-egwuru na be anyị, ibe a na-ezu na be anyị. Because I'm a one mother man Nnamdi Kanu. No years over, and you want to fight. Or more than the media. Also, some people really met today. Apart from here, now today on a private great stand another security activist today. Who that not more than great ESN. Now this is one of the reasons why. The some people what a boy on the land that is just boy or great security activist. So now, you saw what I do. The way I am the more stuff one idea. Mandi, Manda, Mandi, Yoruba, see a package. That's how good at end shall be. At end shall be.
Ọ bụrụ na ị na-anya Mazi ezumezu nwa ekwensu, ọtụtụ ndị mmadụ ga na-ekwu okwu na-ajụ ajụjụ ma na-ekwusi ike ma na-asị ọ bụrụ na ekwugo okwu we shall win, kedu mgbe ọ ga-abụ? N'ihi na ọ bụrụ na ngene emedị ngene otu a ka ọ dị, ọ bụ na okwu n'okwu na-ekwu we shall win dịka ikwugoro ndị ekwu na ndị Igbo, kedu ụzọ ka mma, kedu otu anụwa ọ na-apụta? Ụfọdụ ndị si mụ na echere na ịgbapụ ma ọchịchị etiti akwụkwọ na ụlọikpe mba ụwa. Ọ bụrụ na ọ na-asị we shall win, na asị gosi tọ abịa ihe na-asị onye nke asị unu ji ego ya, unu ji okwu ọnụ ya, unu ji ihe nji aka nọ ntọrọ ka a tọrọ ya tọbata ya n'ebe a. Ọ bụ na gị ikpe awagburu na 2020 tupu nke a si ya lawa, emechakwa bịa nwụchiga ya azụ. Ọ dịghị ka ihe ndị a niile ezigbo oke ebe ọ bụ na Naijiria ekwerezi a na ihe maọbụ ndị ọchịchị Naijiria ebe a na ihe gbakọ m gawazie na mba ụwa, obido na mba ụwa ka enyezi iwu ka atọ akụ Maazị Nnamdi Kanu.
Am I that court na UK from the High Court to Supreme Court? Onye wokuwa, onye gala court dị iche daga ukanta Kanu. Am I that na Supreme Court? They made revise their life. Each I will send you the video letter. At a point, the lawyer they defend UK government. Now by the judge, now this man is part of national security. That's why this matter, this issue, not security of the government that statement. The judge is 2,000. We all lose.
Mazi Ekwensu isi na Nigeria nwere bele onwe ya, enwere ndị ka na-achịkwa anyị ji na otu akụkụ na-agbanyeghị ihe ga na-esi were na-eme. Ka m jụọ gị, unu na nwunye Maazị Nnamdi Kanu, kedu ka unu si arụkọ na IPOB nwunye Maazị Nnamdi Kanu? Maka na enwere oge a gbara ya ajụjụ ọnụ, Lọlọ Nneka Chimezie gbara ya ajụjụ ọnụ live and direct. Ụfọdụ ihe ka ọ nọcha na-akọcha kwa ndị nke m na-agaghị ekpuchi ebe a. Mana kedu ka unu na nwaanyị ya nwunye Maazị Nnamdi Kanu si arụkọ?
ọ na-ekwu na ịma na ka a ghara ịlọtachafe ife ya nwunye Nnamdi Kanu ọ na-ekwu na ọ bụrụ ihe mere eme n'ụdị na ozi ya nwere ike ọ bụghị n'ọnụ di ya gosipụta ka ọ bụ n'ụdị na ya na ndị a na-asị na ekposara na alụkọ ka anyị gaa n'iru maka na oge anyị na-akụkwara mgbe na-adịghị anya ga-abụ gị na-agwa n'ụwa. Ọ bụrụ na ị na-anya otu ihe na-agbagwoju m anya ọtụtụ mgbe mpụta na-agụ ma n'efere mba ụwa maọbụ na-ekiri ọtụtụ ihe gbasatara Maazị Nnamdi Kanu. Onye anọkwa Burkina Faso kwuo, onye anọkwa Italy kwuo, onye anọkwa Portugal kwuo, onye anọ Spain, onye anọ America, onye anọ Sweden. Ajụjụ m na-ajụ gị n'ụtụtụ a ka m bidogo n'ịjụ gị, kedu ihe mere na unu niile bụ ndị na-ekwu ihe a nọcha mba ofesi? Kedu ihe mere na unu gị na-achị ịbata Naijiria na anyị na Naijiria n'ụwa lụọ ọgụ ya lụta ya otu? Kedu ihe mere o ji bụrụ na unu nọ n'elu unu na-enye iwu unu na-ekwu okwu maka ntọhapụ onye nọ na Naijiria? Ọ dị ka oge ruo na mgbe unu ga-agasa ọ bụrụ na Maazị Nnamdi Kanu dị unu mkpa, ọ bụrụ na ọ bụ onye ndu n'eziokwu ka unu si chọọ, ọ bụrụ na ihe ọ bụla o kwuru bụ ejecha ọgwụ, unu niile ụbọchị ọzọ ọ ga-aga ikpe apil, unu niile febata na Naijiria lujuo n'ụlọ ikpe fụnye ihu na ihu kwesịrị n'ụlọ ikpe n'ihe a enough is enough, na ọ bụrụ na asụọ gada a ga-asụta ihe n'ime ọfịa. Kedu ka isi fụ nka?
Maazị Nwekwensu gaa n'iru n'otu nkeji.
Mana asị na achụrụ onye nta asị na achụrụ efe aja iji ofe achụ na o ji aka ya gbarụkwa gị dịka Nnamdi Kanu na-ekweghị n'ihe ndị ọ gbaghasịrị ya, ọ bụ eziokwu?
Sebadi. Aga maga di munjikere ga di munjikere sebadi.
Ọ ga-amasị anyị ma anyị na Mazi Kanu nwee ọbụla gị barista lọọ iji ọtọ. Ọ dị mma ebe a ka anyị nọ wee na-ekene gị Maazị Ezumezu nwa Ekwensu. Daalụ gị nne maka oge gị n'ụtụtụ a na ịgwa anyị ka o si gbatakwuru na otu IPOB Maazị Nnamdi Kanu nyekwara ya gburugburu. Ọ bụrụ na anyị kpọọ ọkụ ụbọchị ọzọ dododo zakwa anyị. Daalụ gị.
It forces Nigerians to ask not simply who may have committed an offense, but how an entire system could have allowed it to happen. This week, the presidency found itself responding to allegations surrounding what it says was a fictitious government body known as the Presidential Foreign Intervention Promotion Council. Presidential spokesman Bayo Onanuga says the office was fake, that the individual at the center of the matter, Adeniyi Adeyemi, has been arrested and that criminal proceedings are now before the courts. But the legal proceedings do not extinguish the broader public interest questions. In fact, they make those questions even more urgent, because if the official position is that this organization did not legally exist, then Nigerians are entitled to ask, how was it able to function for so long within the machinery of government? How could an entity now described as fictitious operate from the Federal Secretariat? How was it able to communicate with public institutions? How did it acquire the appearance of official recognition? And perhaps most remarkably, how did provisions associated with it find their way into the federal appropriations process? Those questions do not presume guilt against anyone. They are questions about systems, not merely individuals. They also raise difficult issues for multiple institutions. If public funds were appropriated in relation to an office whose legal status is now disputed, what does that say about budget scrutiny? What does it say about administrative oversight? What safeguards failed, and where should responsibility ultimately lie? Well, beyond the criminal prosecution itself, there are now growing calls from some quarters for wider administrative inquiries into how such events could occur and whether existing oversight mechanisms inside government remain fit for purpose. President Tinubu has repeatedly pledged to confront corruption and strengthen institutions. Many Nigerians will now judge that commitment not by speeches, but by whether this controversy is investigated thoroughly, transparently, and wherever the evidence leads. Because in a democracy, accountability does not begin when a conviction is secured, Accountability begins the moment legitimate questions are asked and the government is willing to answer them. Well, for their assessment of this story and the other developments in the week that was, I'm joined now in the studio by three guest analysts. Dr. Umar Yakubu is the Executive Director of the Center for Fiscal Transparency and Public Integrity. He is also a public policy analyst. Dr. Taufik Raimi is a development expert and economic analyst and is a member of the ruling APC party, as well as the Tinubu support group. And Mazi Nnamdi Dixon Irebu is a public affairs analyst and aspirant for the House of Representatives under the banner of the opposition, NDC. Gentlemen, thank you very much indeed for joining us. Let me come to you first, Dr. Yakubu. Thank you for joining us. From your perch as the Executive Director of the Center for Fiscal Transparency and Public Integrity, you deal with a lot of issues around the stink of corruption. How much does this unfolding story of a fictitious office operating under the name of the Presidential Foreign Intervention Promotion Council raise a red alert?
Well, thank you for inviting me, Charles, and I liked your intro because for the first time since this scandal came about, people have been focusing on the person as the prince or whatever, but they are not looking at the accountability system and mechanism. We have been saying that it has been too weak. And in your intro, you mentioned all the problems. Now we have several councils, National Examination Council, National Shippers Council, all the councils. You find out that they have enabling legal frameworks backing them. Now, nobody has been able to tell you the legal framework backing this particular council. And the funny name is Presidential Intervention something. Even the name is very funny and problematic if you look at the name. Intervention in what exactly? But now let's assume that it even exists in law.
Presidential Foreign Intervention Promotion Council.
Promotion of what exactly?
Well, I mean, you're right, but continue.
Yes,
so that's bizarre.
Yeah, it is. So now let's assume that we'll listen to the argument. They maybe manufacture one legal framework now. And what they will tell you is executive order and start burying it under some, nuances there, here and there. But let's assume it even exists now. Now, you are talking about promotion of investments. You have the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. You have the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment. You have the NEPSA, Nigeria Export Promotion Zone. You have the Nexim Bank. You already have enough agencies that are dealing with promotion of international trade, international investments, and all of that. Now, what mechanism did they need? What mechanism or what tool or what led them to think about how they will establish this kind of council now? I've not seen any data to support, we need a Presidential Foreign Intervention Promotion Council, whatever it may be. Because these agencies are already doing all their work. But you now came and now established a council to, let's say, promote. I'm assuming it's for promotion of foreign investment. I'm just assuming. Now, assuming that's the reason for foreign investment, these people do not understand that capital chases investment, not the other way around. That's why you can see presidents running around, governors running around all the time. But where are the investments coming? Well, all over the world, you will see a lot of capital looking for where investments would lie. But this is not happening because we have not, fix our system for the investors to come. So now, to the second layer about accountability mechanisms. Assuming whether it was established or not, how do you establish an agency, get funding, 1.2 billion or so, whatever the amount is, it even has a budget of 20-something billion, open an account with the central bank, meaning payments have come from the Accountant General of the office, meaning the Auditor General of the Federation has access to all these accountability mechanisms.
Budgets approved at the National Assembly.
Yes. Yeah. Then for the presidency to now come and expose its lapses, it now came and issued a statement that was just bringing out all these lapses, meaning they do not check all these things. So these are the problems of what we're talking about, and these things need to be fixed. Because right now, just one more point, assuming they jail this person, What happens to the other ones that we're not aware of? There are so many of them. And what happens to all the spending that nobody's just checking? Lastly, again, the National Assembly just needs to involve its responsibility.
Okay, thank you for that. Let me come to you, Mazi, Nnamdi, Dixon, Irebe. If the presidency says this office did not legally exist, how could an organization function within government to the extent that it appeared to interact with ministries and public institutions? What does that say about the strength or weakness of governance systems? And let's be, fairly reserved with our language, because I know you're chomping at the bit, being an opposition member. Let's just assess this reasonably, and
it's an unreasonable situation. So it just tells that it seems like Nigeria is running an Uluwale system of government.
What does that mean?
It's a Yahoo system of government. Because if not, the chief of staff to the president has been linked to this, and over how many days, weeks, and all of that, because this thing just started now. As far back as October, this case has been in the public domain, and the chief of staff was said to have written to exonerate himself and all of that story and all that, and he's still sitting in there up till now. So first, the position of my party, the NDC, is that by now the chief of staff to the president ought to have been sacked, and sacked immediately, so that at least by every means possible, investigation will be carried out without any semblance of bias. So it's just unfortunate that we have gotten ourselves here, Charles. I made a movie that gave me the first armor in 2005 titled The Mayors. It was about scenarios like this where people feigned or claimed to be government officials, and from such office, extort foreigners and all of that in the name of having access to the powers that be. The movie is just about playing out the game. It's just like in the movies. It's sad, and I expected the president by now to have taken a firm position to, at least if you say you're fighting corruption, and this one is closer home, your chief of staff is directly linked to this. This person has office in the Federal Secretariat and has been functioning for a while now. And somebody is trying to say, oh, it's a fake agency. How is that? If it's a fake agency, are we running a fake government? These are issues that we now need to interrogate seriously, because honestly, this does not speak well for our country. It just exposes how the APC government led by Tinubu is all about how that they can milk the system and not, promote the common interests that they ought to be promoting.
Right. Okay.
So it's unfortunate that we found ourselves here. Yeah.
Let me turn to you, Dr. Raib, because you are a member of the APC, although you're not in the government. So, I don't know what sort of defense you can put forth, but is this simply an alleged case of fraud by an individual in your assessment based on what you know, or does it expose something much deeper about institutional controls inside the APC Tinubu government?
Okay, thank you, Charles, for having me. And let me say categorically that this issue is still an allegation by the person who claimed to...
No, we're not talking about, sorry to interrupt you.
Yes.
It has gone beyond being an allegation.
Yes.
Because the government, the presidency has admitted that such a thing had been happening.
Yes. Yeah.
The issue of allegation is whether, to what extent, the chief of staff is involved or connected to it or not. But the fact is that a fake organization existed and was basically had the budget appropriated to it,
1.3 billion,
passed by the National Assembly, recruited staff and all the rest of it. That's the issue.
Yes,
so it's gone beyond that point of allegation.
There are various issues to this matter, and you allow me to make
of course, but I wanted to just check the point you were trying to make.
Yes,
Because that people would see that as a way to try and slip out.
No, we are not slipping out at all. Charles, I can assure you, there is no slipping out. We are going to lay the point, not the emotion. When this matter came up in October last year, you will recall that this matter, Nigeria have institutions that I still believe they are working. They are working. We should not demonize our institution of government, particularly under this current president, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Why did I say so? In October, when this matter came up, the Federal Ministry of Finance, the Federal Ministry, the Foreign Affairs Ministry, discovered that there is an agency like that, and then alerted, the chief of staff, because he was the person. That's why I said it was an allegation at that point. He was alleging that he got an appointment for this particular position. So the chief of staff took the right decision, immediately requested, first of all, he said he had nothing to do with it. He immediately asked the Office of National Security Advisor and the DSS to investigate the man and whoever is connected. At that particular point, the system was working. Even beyond that, the police also came into the matter and they went and investigated and found out that the so-called organization is fake. The fact that you see the man hobnobbing with government functionaries are not sufficient to thinking that maybe our system had failed.
No, let me tell you, I don't mean to interrupt you.
Yes.
It is sufficient.
Yes.
And if it does not raise red flags for you, then I worry about the state of this country. And I'm saying that to you in particular. Yes. I am raising specific concern. How can a fake organization be able to get offices in the Federal Secretariat, have its budget approved in the National Assembly, open bank accounts in the Central Bank? How is that possible?
Charles, the nature of sophisticated crime and criminality across the world can be so tight that certain times you want to wonder how certain things happen. Let me give you a quick example.
Yeah, but it raises two questions.
I know.
It raises
you know that in
about
America,
how this could have happened
in America,
No,
in America where we have...
No, we're not talking about America.
Let me
We're
give
talking
you an
about
example. Let me give you an example. All of us that were live when the incident of 9/11 happened. The 9/11, why don't you say, why did this happen in America? Let me tell you.
Totally different things.
No, you see.
Look, I'm afraid I can't. This is preposterous. You don't really have a response. Let me come to you.
I do.
Professor, Dr. Yakubu. What worries you more? Listening to Dr. Taufeeq there, the allegations themselves, or the possibility that no one inside the system appears to have detected the warning signs that appear to have been so glaring?
Yes, sir. Thank you. What worries me the most is the weakness of the accountability mechanisms. That you can have a fake agency situated right in the Federal Secretariat. I definitely want to believe he even moves with policemen. Because he's provided security by the state. He draws funds from the state. Now that 1.2 billion could have been 12 billion, could have been 20 billion. Now the amount doesn't matter because the mechanism is so porous. Now, if you reported last year that there is a fake agency, where is he now? What has happened? Exactly. Nothing. Absolutely.
To be fair, he's been charged to court, but he is out on bail.
Yes.
If Mr. Charles, you open a government office tomorrow in the middle of Abuja, by next week he'll be in jail. I'm telling you.
Well, you ought to be.
No, you ought to be in jail. But the reason why we could assume, even if we don't have the evidence right way, why it's taking time is there's likely political interference, also political interest. That is why it is not happening. And we need to really look at these things because, like I said, 1.2 billion could have been 12 billion, could have been 20 billion. And now, when you have about 7-8 federal agencies all not being able to detect a fake agency to raise the red flag, on the other side, you have the National Assembly sending letters back and forth to that same agency, and somebody's come to tell us it is fake. Please, I think we need to...
And these are people who have oversight functions.
Exactly.
What is the point of oversight if you can't detect something that is clearly raising a red flag? Let me come to you, Mazi. Dixon. The matter, as we said, is now before the court, so the criminal issues will be determined legally. But the existence of a court case does not prevent the presidency from ordering wider administrative investigations into how this happened.
I agree. And that's why I said, first, the office of the the chief of staff to the president has been linked to this. First, the fact, the story out there is that this fellow purchased this appointment. I think they said it was linked to about 600 million, and 400 million was paid, balance 200 million. Yeah. The guy who linked
those are the allegations.
The allegations. The guy who linked him to this.
I mean, I don't want to get into all kinds of allegations.
At least let's even bring it to the
what you mean, but those are allegations at this point.
Yes.
The key thing is what Dr. Yakubu is raising, which is the institutional failure.
The failure of the 10th Assembly, ab initio, compromised itself, became more like a branch of the executive arm. And that is why the oversight function thing is nowhere to be found. The 10th Assembly has failed woefully in that direction. We even have letters from the Senate to this fellow, to this agency, from the Green Chamber to this fellow, and all of that. So if the National Assembly, like you rightly stated, that ought to do the oversight function, was caught napping, sleeping, on duty. Well, that's where we have found ourselves. And my brother here at the ABC, my colleague here, it's unfortunate. Yes, it's unfortunate that we don't even know where to draw the line. Moments like this, what we should put forward is Nigeria. The image of our nation is what is important here, not your political party. So I expected that he will even, first of all, frown seriously at this, and to imagine that it is under their watch that this is happening. You are looking for excuses linking us to America and looking for 9/11 narrative and all of that. This is terrible. And the government, the president ought to, by now, sack the chief of staff who has been linked, which is not the first one. He has been linked to various.
He can be suspended while an investigation.
Sack is the issue. Sack someone. This is not the first time that the chief of staff has been linked to issues like this.
Anyway, let me
this is a very terrible thing that is happening.
Because the question is whether there should be responsibility, if any exists, should stop with individuals accused. Or should there also be scrutiny of the entire public sort of official system? And looking into who may have approved documents or failed to detect irregularities. I mean, where do you stand definitively on that?
Where I stand is that, first of all, this matter came up last year. It was blown open, and the various relevant agencies have continued to do what they need to do. There is still and that is why the presidency did not even come out about the matter until a few days back, after maybe some internal investigation had been conducted. This president or myself or our party will never support anything that has to do with corruption. But in terms of fighting corruption, you also have to be methodical about it. You do not crucify people, but set the court and declare them to have committed that offense. In terms of how crime can linger or can permeate, look at FBI even in America. You will notice that sometimes they try to detect problems, even 5-10 years crime can take that long. This government has no picture for crime or criminality. That's why in the past you will notice that he has suspended ministers, he has relieved some people from their position. So nobody is coming to anywhere. But you see, people can want to make social media headline. Ultimately, you can win a case under two platforms, either on social media or you win a case in the court. This matter is already before the court, and I believe in the end, we are going to see who and who are complicit. I want to assure you that this administration will not bury anybody, but there are oppositions who want to always antagonize the administration, who want to pull down the functionaries because they actually want to come back.
What you're saying sounds spectacularly.
Yes.
It really does. Anyway, look, let's watch and see what happens. We've got to move move on because time is against us. Let's turn to our second topic, the APC versus INEC over candidate lists. The APC has reviewed the outcome of several of its National Assembly primaries, restoring some serving senators who had earlier lost their tickets and replacing candidates who were initially declared winners. But INEC says there is a line political parties cannot cross, and that only candidates who emerge from primaries monitored by the Commission and whose names match the results already uploaded onto its electronic portal will be accepted. Any attempts to submit different names, it insists, will be automatically rejected. Who should have the final word over candidates? The political party that conducted the primaries or INEC that monitored them? And let me come back to you guys and to you, Dr. Yakubu. Has the Electoral Act become significantly stronger in preventing arbitrary substitutions of candidates, or are political parties simply finding new ways around it?
The Electoral Act is actually a very strong law. If you really look at the law in principle, it can get us to have a very strong democracy, strong elections and all of that. But the problem is the lawyers and the parties actually have found ways to be abusing the system just to favor their own political interests. So, we're in a democracy, and every case we have has to end up at the courts, and that is just what is playing out. Everybody will utilize any loophole possible, to see how it can favor his own party. So what happened today, I think, is a welcome development for the ADC, that's the party that got the judgment today, because the space has been assumed to be constrained to favor the ruling party. I'm a civil society, I'm not for any other party, but we're here to promote democracy. So we're happy.
Well, that judgment was actually yesterday.
Okay, yesterday. Thank you for that correction. So I think it's good for democracy to allow participation of all political parties, as long as they meet the minimum requirements. All these little things they hang on to disqualify or prevent other political parties should not be happening. But INEC specifically has to, stand its ground, because most of the time, once it gets a judgment, you can see the urge of INEC rushing.
Right. I think we're getting things a little bit mixed up. The point of the issue here, which I think he will probably be best placed to address, is that the APC has reviewed the outcome of several of its National Assembly primaries. It's restored some serving senators who had earlier lost their tickets, replacing candidates who were initially declared winners after the primaries. But INEC says there is a line political parties cannot cross, and that only candidates who emerged from primaries monitored by the Commission and whose names match the results already uploaded onto its electronic portal will be accepted. Let me get your response to that very quickly before I come to him, and then we're going to take a break.
It's not just the APC that is affected in this attempt to...
Because I mean, you're an actor in the NDC.
While the 2026 amended Electoral Act has a lot of wonderful ideas in it, there are lots of flaws. The aspect of, for instance, insisting that direct primaries, when the system is not conducive enough for that. And we witnessed, for instance, what the APC went first, on the direct primaries thing. And we saw how the direct primaries went, where from 1 you count to 50, from 50 you count to 10,000 and all of that. So indeed, the process was flawed already. So, but the party has every right to internally, present its kind. After all, the candidates are for the party.
Yeah, but what would be the point of INEC going to monitor the primaries and seeing the results of the primaries and making notes and okay, so
let me tell you,
and uploading it, and then you come and give
for instance, from the ABC, my state, the Imo State, for instance, right? And I have said it everywhere. There was no primaries. There was no. And what was presented, as far as I'm concerned, was not primaries. So that INEC can wake up and say that, that they witnessed or they were part of the process. For instance, mine happened around 1 a.m.
But that's your own personal issue.
Not just
the NDC is not saying that there wasn't any.
No, I'm telling you, most aspirants. I'm an aspirant, so I can tell you, and I speak for a lot of other aspirants. There was none. However, we respect the fact that the party position about presenting his candidates is supreme. If the party decides that, whatever happened at the field is not what they are going to upload into the INET portal, it's the business of the party.
Okay,
so APC doing
we're
that,
running out of time.
for me, it's neither here nor there.
In our own case, well, I thank Dixon for the first time saying the truth that there was no primary.
I've always said the truth. I have always
He said there's no, but in APC, in our own case, we have primaries.
Oh, really?
Yes, we have
That's
primaries.
a lie now.
No. You can't tell me it's a lie. You are the one that just lied plenty. However, NDC had no primary, APC had primaries. And in fact, I want to commend our own chairman, national chairman of our National Working Committee, supported by that's Professor Nwanda. We made sure that we had teams that went across Nigeria to conduct the election. Out of all of these elections across 36 states and the FCT, we had only 9 states where we have this issue of substitution. And so across all, that means out of 37, if FCT is counted as
what's your position?
my position. So our party was able to achieve 76% that are not substituted. Only about 24%. And my position is that it is the party's responsibility to actually nominate their own candidate. So if there are problems on the field, we cannot say because certain names were returned before. Why do we have internal mechanism to correct them? Our party received over 700 petitions, and in the end of the day, we had to resolve them. I believe we will have an explanatory note to INEC to explaining why just about 8 people have been substituted.
I got to tell
and I think we are going to resolve.
Thank you for that. Both of you are agreed on one thing, and that's hopeful for Nigeria's democracy. You're watching Arise Prime Time. Plenty more still ahead as we continue our assessment of the week that was. Stay with us. Let's continue our look back at the week that was, because in the courts, the African Democratic Congress, or ADC, secured a significant legal victory, strengthening its new leadership and potentially reshaping the calculations of an opposition coalition already looking towards 2027. PTOB, meanwhile, returned to the national conversation with a renewed promise to build a more united Nigeria through education, healthcare, and human capital development. In a country where division has often proved politically profitable, can unity become a winning political message? And on the security front, the United States announced the withdrawal of most of its troops from Nigeria's Lake Chad region after a major joint counter-terrorism operation, while pledging to continue intelligence cooperation. Is this evidence that Nigeria's security forces are becoming more capable, or simply that modern wars are increasingly won through intelligence rather than boots on the ground? And our guest analysts are still with me in the studio as we continue our assessment of the week that was. And they are Dr. Umar Yakubu, the Executive Director of the Center for Fiscal Transparency and Public Integrity, and is also a public policy analyst. Dr. Tawfiq Raimi, a development expert and economic analyst, member of the ruling party as well as the Tinubu support group. And Mazi Nnamdi Dixon-Irebu, a public affairs analyst and aspirant for the House of Representatives under the banner of the opposition, NDC. Gentlemen, thank you very much indeed for staying with us. Let's turn to our third topic, which is the major courtroom victory that you kind of jumped the gun the last time we got to. So if you just keep the answer brief. Courtroom victory for the ADC, the removal of one legal obstacle on its road to 2027, and the affirmation of the party's David Mark leadership. Your thoughts on that, briefly?
I think it's a good development for democracy, but we need to not there are too many cases you find that a lot of decisions are done by the court instead of by the people, but by the system. So INEC has to find ways, to make sure that those things are reduced.
Right. Okay. Thank you, and thanks for keeping it brief. Mazi Nnamdi, does the judgment merely settle an internal party dispute, or does it significantly strengthen one arm of the opposition ahead of 2027? Now, Dr. Rahimi, you've got a smirk on your face. The ADC now appears to have cleared one big legal hurdle. Does it depress you to know that that victory allows it to now focus fully on presenting itself as a credible alternative to your APC government?
Not at all, Charles. It has nothing to do with our victory for our president and APC by 2027. In fact, APC is ready for any contestation, any contest with any other political party. But I just want Charles for this opposition political party, APC, NPC, and all of them as well, to also sing praises of the judiciary when judgment did not go there. Because today, because today now, you can see, it's because it went away. And let them also know that, we have hierarchy of courts in Nigeria. If you win at the federal court, there are powers. Court of Appeal, there's also Supreme.
Assuming the other
It's not over for them.
But are you saying you're not done with the destabilization of the
no, we're not their call. So I think the important point I want to make is that just like I referred to earlier, I was not defending anything corrupt. I was only saying system works and we should have confidence in our system. The judiciary is doing well, they can do better in Nigeria. And so when judgment does not go in our favor, we should look at it as being meritorious. Okay. When judgment goes in our favor, we should also celebrate.
I think that anybody would see that as a very reasonable point. And thank you for that. Now let's move on to our next topic, which is PJB's recently declared new vision for Nigeria. He's emphasizing national unity as the cornerstone of his policy strategy. Is that message likely to resonate strongly in today's Nigeria?
Well, I didn't listen to what he said, but he's talking about national unity. We usually hear all these rhetorics from most of these politicians. They will tell you what we need, but they don't tell you how they are going to enforce national unity. So if somebody is talking about national unity,
I don't think he said enforce, but I think he's talking about a policy, about getting people to. I mean, I don't speak for him. Sorry, no.
Policies are easy to make. The house are what matters. You can easily get people to write policies for you. But the strong political will, the competence, and the energy to enforce that policy of the how is what matters.
Absolutely.
You want national unity, okay, how you go to force and force it.
You're not going to ram it down people's throats.
Yeah, so that's what I want to hear. That's the kind of how they are going to do it. I have not been hearing that from either political candidate at the federal level like this. I have not heard anything regarding national unity.
Right. And that's a reasonable point, isn't it, Mazi, because you are an obedient.
Oh, yeah.
You are a member of the NDC, and B2B is your presidential candidate. I mean, he speaks about unity, but Nigerian politics often rewards division and identity. I mean, that's the way that a lot of politicians actually move. Can a campaign built around national cohesion actually win elections in Nigeria?
Oh, yes. And since 1999, I've stated that the ticket of Peter Obi and Kwankwaso is about the best ticket.
You say 1999?
Yeah.
You mean 2023?
Since 1999, that democracy came out.
Yeah, but you said that Peter.
Okay, the ticket since 1999, the ticket of Peter Obi since the ticket of Peter Obi and Kwankwaso is about the best that we have had, because one, these are people who are clearly by their antecedents about the nation. Kwankwaso and Peter Obi's togetherness today, as we have seen, is definitely going to promote that unity. Unlike the ruling party as we have, that is insensitive to the unity of our country. Because, for instance, anybody who thinks that a Muslim ticket is not an aberration in Nigeria is not thinking straight. So clearly, we are going to have, by the body language and all that B2B stands for, it will be about unity, because APC has promoted division, right? And there's a need to call it to a halt urgently.
Well, let's give the he's not the spokesman for the APC, but he's a representative. Let's give him a chance to respond, because vision documents are important, but the elections are ultimately one of trust. Has P2B done enough to convince Nigerians he can actually implement what he's proposing?
Okay, that's a very quality question, as always, from Charles. Let me say, like our energetic, enterprising, promising Nigerian Gen Z youth will say, how now, Peter Obi? You want to say you want to unite Nigeria. You could not even unite members of ABGA, where you are former governor. You could not even unite the leadership of Labour PDP. You ran away. You could not unite Labour Party when you were their presidential candidate. You ran away. How will you do it? You came to ADC. Less than 2 months or 3 months, you have you captured them, because even on your program, you said you will continue to move like that.
Oh, yes.
You know, so because his target is just to be on the ballot paper, he has no leadership capacity, skills, and experience to unite Nigeria. Nigeria has 365 ethnic groups. It has diversity, you know, in terms of religion, in terms of background. Peter Obi does not have the temperament. He doesn't have the cognate experience to be able to unite them. If you cannot unite those small organizations, smaller than Nigeria, with 230 million Nigerians, with all this diversity, no one should be so determined and quit.
Okay, we must move on to our final topic, the U.S. withdrawal of its troops from Nigeria. Does this withdrawal, Dr. Yakubu, reflect growing confidence in Nigeria's military or changing American strategic priorities?
Yeah, thank you. Before I start that, you know, I'm in the middle of two politicians. I just want to use.
Yeah, it must be very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I noticed you were sweating a bit.
Yes, you can see, they think unity is about inclusion of tribes and everybody. That is not how nations are built, and that is why we have problems. If you look at all the countries we like to copy, they develop some common areas of nationalism, of national interest, of things that would develop the country and pull people towards those visions. But we think now, okay, if you now have a system where every tribe is represented, every religious represented will now have unity, no, we are not going to have unity. That's what it is about. So back to the final question on the withdrawal of the US troops. I think it's a good thing that they came. At least they have supported the country most, especially I'm sure in terms of intelligence and sharing, like giving us, because they have superiority of knowledge in support Nigeria. But now that they have left, my hope and prayer is that the Nigerian state now is ready to fill in that gap that they have left. Most of the areas where they would have helped is they are mostly maybe the intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance, because those are the areas, the kinds of terrorism we have, terrorism, banditry, kidnapping, those major ones are things that they are moving open. So you need those eyes in the sky to see those things. The second thing we have to, and I don't know why we're shying away from them, all these elements of IT security, these 3 or 4, have to do with terrorist financing. So we need to strengthen how we stop the monies from flowing to those terrorist groups, and that needs a lot of incorporation, both internally and with our international
partners. Right, thank you. Very good points. And Mazi Dixon, the US says intelligence sharing, one of the points that you're making, that intelligence sharing will continue. Does modern counter-terrorism depend more on intelligence than on boots on the ground?
Both. Hence, what is important first is that,
well, I mean, the Americans are gone, so
yeah,
they're boots
but
on
they didn't pull away completely.
Yeah, but I mean, they're saying they will give intelligence.
However, what's important first is that this should make us realize that nobody will come from elsewhere to solve our security issue in Nigeria. We all have to be involved. Government has to take it seriously and change, rejig completely its approach. One of the things that I have always frowned against is this government adopted, the APC government since they came to power in 2015, adopted this non-kinetic and kinetic approach and all of that. Caught people who are confirmed terrorists, kidnappers, and you say we are rehabilitating them. And some of them, recently there's news out there that some of them are being considered for recruitment in the army and all of that. We just have to stop that and change our approach, about insecurity. Fight tackling insecurity. Right. Nobody will come from outside to do it for us. Then the aspect of sharing intelligence, of course, yes. We are not a nation that is existing outside planet Earth. So we need every cooperation we can get from anywhere, but there should be sincerity from the position of the Nigerian government,
right,
which seems to be missing at the moment.
Let me ask you, Dr. Rahimi, Nigeria has fought insurgency for more than 50 years. Looking beyond this week's announcement, is this country genuinely closer to ending the conflict?
Yes, we are making progress under the leadership of our President, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And let me use this opportunity to thank the President of America, Donald Trump, for the collaboration with our Nigerian government, which led to the mobilization of troops, 200 of them, into Nigeria February this year. And let me say that there are three good things that came out of the call. You recall that the commander of U.S. Air Force that led this U.S. Army into Nigeria has actually said that Nigeria is a large country. Nigeria is the military is capable. Nigeria has good economy and it has large population of educated people. So these are the people that are looking at us from outside. And just 3 months, they are able to achieve their specific goal. Because he said why they are pulling out, it's not because of any acrimony, it's because they have agreed, they have achieved the objective that brought them here. So I believe that instead of demonizing our country, we should appreciate just like other people are appreciating. As regards the question of 15 years, I believe that we are on course to exterminate the incident.
Let me give you the final word, because you're the one who is in the middle, and you're the one who comes across as most objective. We've discussed corruption allegations, electoral disputes, party leadership battles, presidential visions, national situation. If this week tells us anything about Nigeria's direction, what is it?
Why? Well,
let me put it another way. Which of these stories do you believe Nigerians will still be talking about in 6 months' time?
Unfortunately, Nigerians, I don't know, research to back this, we have a lifespan of 2 weeks to forget this basically after 2 weeks. But I think the first one, Nigeria should bother very brief about the first one, where you can have an agency that can put billions of naira to staff and nobody knows. That's dangerous. Right.
So the nettlesome issue of corruption.
Yes.
Gentlemen, I want to thank you very much. Great to see you again, Dr. Umar Yakubu, Dr. Taufik Rahimi, and Mazi Nnamdi. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
That's it for this edition of Arise Prime.
This is from Biafra's Got Talent. We are letting Biafrans know the reason why we should remember those who gave their lives for us, those who died that we may live.
You died to end my suffering. You died fighting for my freedom. Your blood is the seed of redemption. You are my inspiration.
The deed no longer them, military shots at them. 67 to 70, we remember them. 2016, 38 May, memory still lives in our mind till today. Wonder why they refuse to publicize the genocide. The world media turn blind eyes to our plight. It's time to arise, land of the rising sun. Let's rise one more time, let's rise.
Yo, we will never forget our fallen heroes. Those who gave their life for us. Onitsha massacre, Iwata massacre, Aba massacre. We remember you. Alright.
Tell them I touched me, remember when me tell you say I touched me, yeah, I remember that one that called us a Bruce Mero. Would you go like a papa nuku? Oh, them be webo niro. Me tell you what I look pandi, what pandi samiro. Me tell you what I day. For me the front and the rest of man I tell you what I day. Me no back and forth. Me tell them say what
I want to promise you something today. We must fight together, no retreat and no surrender. We must hold them down till the end of time. The most important thing is that we will restore Biafra.
I look up to the sky with tears in my eyes. For other Biafrans and for freedom had to die. We will never forget
without you, as the days go by, you are always in my heart, will never be apart.
They fought for our freedom, they died for our freedom. They fought the Nigerian soldiers in the war front, without food, without guns, for our freedom, for our life, for our own good, for our children. We love them, our heroes, we want them.
My heart bleeds when I saw them slain. Where will I be now if not then? They will remain indelible in my heart, forever, 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 and never, and never, and never.
We serve in your plantation, and the way you paid us back with your bloody starvation. We play in our history that the death of my people is a mystery. No going back to get to a victory. I had a voice now call for vengeance. I never get bombed, I'ma blow like a vengeance.
Yo, we will never forget our fallen heroes, those who gave their life for us. Onitsha massacre, Iwata massacre, Aba massacre. We remember you. Alright.
Where will I be now? If not you, you died at Mali.
They were starved to death because of our freedom, and they paid the debt for our freedom. Flag high for those that died in the genocide, fighting for you and I. There is pain in our heart, we bleeding inside, tears in our eyes, so I'm falling here.
This is for my fallen heroes. Give them a motivation, people. It's like I'm looking at myself in the mirror. Cause to be a cast, I need to be a nurse. If we did not recover,
They paid the ultimate price. Yeah. They died for the freedom of my unborn child. Yeah. We live for the legacy.
Yo, we will never forget our fallen heroes. Onitsha massacre, Iwata massacre, Aba massacre. We remember you. Alright. Yo, we will never forget our fallen heroes. Onitsha massacre, Iwata massacre, Aba massacre. We remember you. Alright.
Yeah, put the flag in the air. Never be afraid. March on, cause we are more than conquerors. Yeah, you know what it is.